and we're riding out the apocalypse with another apocalyptic situation. Danganronpa.
Correct, Scrubs.
Which is, our save was literally right before entering the red door and starting this whole madness. So, let's just get right into it. This is going to be today's episode. Whoa, Byakuya and Makoto who showed up together.
Has he always
We
had
did.
that much scruff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where the heck have you two been? You just disappeared without a word. We were investigating, of course. How could you not figure that out by this point? Makoto ranked high enough for you guys to go off together? Just the two of you? What? You jealous? Or are you making up some kind of creepy fantasy for yourself?
Low column A, low column B.
Stop talking, embrace yourselves. He'll be here any second. Any second. He can show up at any time. I'm imagining what was about to happen. Immediately tensed up and prepared myself. But we stood there for 5 full minutes, waiting for something weird to happen. And then 5 minutes became 10. Why? What is going on here? Why hasn't Monokuma shown up yet?
Could it be?
Maybe he died again? What should we do? Should we keep waiting here, or... Or what? Jesus! Did I scare you?
Come on.
I demand an explanation. Why did you waste my time and make me wait like that? What? I made you wait? You've got it all backwards. You're the ones making me wait. Huh?
In other words,
I'm waiting for everyone to arrive. We can't start till everyone's here, now can we? What are you talking about? Everyone is here. We've all been waiting for you. Sorry, but you're wrong. But I've been waiting 10 minutes now, so it's okay if I punish the one making us all wait, right? If we all agree it's a violation, I'll arrange a punishment right now. If it's me you're waiting for, I'm here. When we heard the voice, we all spun around to look. Kyoko. And we get the Kyoko theme. It's a boppin' theme.
It is. She's bopping.
I'm here, and no rules been broken. Kyoko! Kyoko, you're still alive? Ghost! Stop talking. If you want to fight, do it at the class trial. You need to save some of the fun for later, right?
What?
But it's okay that there's no particularly penalty for being late.
is that right?
I made it here just fine. What school regulation did I violate? Am I wrong? You gonna look me to tell me that I'm wrong?
You wore a crown and she came down in a bubble duck.
You're so selfish, so spoiled. Can do the Billie Jean to this song. What is the Billie Jean? Is that a dance? No, I'll make sure you're sorry. I'll make sure you're sorry later. Anyway, hustle your butts onto the elevator. I'll just be one step ahead of you. When Monokuma was gone, we all rushed up to Kyoko. Kyoko. So you really didn't die?
Indeed.
Of course I didn't die. So glad you're okay. Perhaps, but that's not necessarily a good thing for us. Huh? He's right, now we gotta deal with a ghost! I told you, stop sulking.
Let's go.
Come on, let's just go. Whatever we need to discuss, we can do it during the trial.
Hello.
Yeah, your mic's turned on, because it was turned on from whenever we did D&D, and I haven't played Ori since. Without ever looking directly at Kyoko, Byakuya stepped into the elevator. What he's worried about is the fact that if Kyoko wasn't the one dead, then either she's the killer, one of us is the killer, because the person that's dead is the other person.
Yeah.
Good call. Who knows what might happen to us if we take too long.
But
I'll be happy when this trial is all over. One after another, everyone piled into the elevator. But I couldn't help myself. I had to talk to Kyoko before the trial started. Listen, before we get started, I have to ask you. Where have you been this whole time? You used that key of yours to go somewhere, didn't you?
Correct.
So, I went to investigate the second floor of the dorms. The second floor?
that's right.
There aren't any monitors or cameras there, so I was able to avoid Monokuma completely. We don't know who's dead. We assume it's,
16th student.
the 16th student. But we don't actually know who's dead yet. We assumed for the longest time that it was Kyoko, but it's very clearly not Kyoko. Of course, I also missed his announcement because of that. I had no idea a body had been discovered. Then, when did you find out?
So,
Just now. I finished my search and came back down, just in time to hear the class trial announcement. I took some time to cover the crime scene first. I can't go to a trial completely uninformed, can I? So that's why you were late.
however,
I'm sorry I kept you all waiting. But if you were on the second floor of the dorms, then that's what the key you found goes to?
wrong.
Actually, to be precise, not quite.
In other words,
I used Monokuma's secret tool, which can open any lock in the school.
Huh.
What? Kyoko's account has been added to the truth bullet section of your handbook.
Just a second.
What are you two doing? Hurry up before we get in trouble with Monokuma.
Makoto.
We could go over all the details after we get through this trial. Okay, Makoto? Right now, I just want to focus on surviving our current situation.
It would seem.
Because this is probably the single most crucial moment so far for me. For her? It's a strange way to put it. Class trial is important for everyone, right? So why would she say that it's a crucial moment for her?
Goodbye.
Well, if that's all. Seemingly unconcerned, Kyoko made her way to the elevator. I'm just overthinking what she said, right? Verdad? Iska?
What?
They're just saying right in a bunch of different like a right as in like correct, huh? Verdad is Spanish and Deska is Japanese. Like you would use it at the end of a sentence to be like, right? Like you would make a statement and then you would add Verdad to say, I'm asking you if this is true. Same with Deska. This time, the clunking was loud enough to hurt my ears, and the dread began to consume me once again. Can't imagine ever getting used to the mental pressure that comes with preparing for an execution. In the dusky darkness, nobody said a word. We just stood there, silent and still. After an immeasurable period of time, the doors opened without warning. A dazzling light penetrated every depth of my eyes. But it wasn't the illuminating light of hope. It was the blinding light of despair. Ugh!
I can't wait. I can't
This place is ugly as shit.
Yep.
Been waiting for this. I feel like it's been forever since we got together like this. The time for pointless jokes and jabs has passed. Let's get on with the show. And so the curtain opened for the 5th time. A deadly judgment, a deadly deception, a deadly betrayal, a deadly riddle, a deadly defense, a deadly faith, a deadly class trial. Yes. Running out of save slots. We got some new skills, I think.
Yeah. Some new skills we're never gonna have.
Let's see here. I've only got 2 SP extra, though, or I've got 4 SP, so I can use increased bullet capacity, effective during bullet time battle. That'd be nice. Allows you to lock onto 2 statements at once, effective during bullet time battles. Both of those are pretty useful.
Yeah.
Allows you to reload 2 bullets. Melodious voice, increased damage to opponent when statement is destroyed. What else do I have? Increases the focus gauge by 2, effective during class trial. I'll hold on to that because focus is nice. Increase the time limit for each phase. I haven't really needed this, have I? Steadies your aim a little, effective during non-stop debate, and the Hangman's Gambit. I don't need that one anymore. Like, it's nice and it's helpful, but I can actually aim on my own.
Yeah.
I would like to increase my ambidextrousness.
You got 2 more left.
If I can get rid of... Increases focus gauge by 2. If I'm doing well enough, I don't need a better focus gauge.
Yeah.
In which case, vocabulary comes in more handy.
Alright.
So that's my skill setup. Let's finish prep.
Let's begin.
I probably
with a
should have gone
basic
over my truth bullets.
explanation of the class trial.
I didn't even think about it.
So, your votes will determine the results.
I can still do this. I was just like, wait, I can just go over this whenever I want using
Yeah.
F1. Due to the explosion, the victim's identity is unknown. They were, however, dead before the blast. The victim has been stabbed a single time with a knife, which went completely through the body. They've also been struck in the head with an object about as thick as a metal pipe. The body was covered with other wounds, but these were at least several days old. The explosion has burnt the upper half of the body beyond recognition. The upper half of the body remained on fire and had to be extinguished. Because of this, the upper half was soaking wet while the bottom half remained dry. The body is wearing notably long fake nails. The body had a tattoo of a dog on the back of the right hand. What if the Junko that we saw early on was actually this person in disguise? Which would explain why the dead Junko was like a thing.
Yeah.
There were bits of charred debris near the body. It would be noted that the bomb, which had been removed from Monokuma in the gym, had disappeared. It's hard to imagine these two events are unrelated. So, between the time that everybody pulled the bomb out and the time that the bomb went off, then could it have been, since she didn't die? Oh, hey, Sora, awesome.
Hi.
Welcome out. Since she died, since whoever this was dead, and everybody was assembled, somebody must have brought the bomb up. I think that whoever brought the bomb up would be girl.
Yoko?
No. Toko.
Oh.
I think Toko might have done it and tried to
Okay.
blow up the body to try and like make it impossible to tell who they were, to try and make it harder to tell who did it.
Okay.
And why would she blow herself up? We're not sure if there was an imposter Junko. We just assumed that Junko's going to show back up soon. Because she's, you know, a very popular character, and for her to have died immediately
Before we saw all
any
the Junko poses
before
that
we
are
saw any
popular?
poses, yeah. Sprinklers are programmed to come on every morning at 7:30. That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to see. 7:30 at this time is a possible change. As such, it can be assumed that if the body had been in the garden before 7:30, it should have gotten wet. 7 a.m., Makoto wakes up to the morning announcement. 7:30 a.m., Makoto and Aoi arrive in the dining hall. 7:30 to 9 a.m., Makoto meets the others in the gym, and together they head to the headmaster's room. Toko is told to find the pickaxe in the garden, where she discovers the body. She was the only one that was ever spent any amount of time away from everybody else. The knife found near the body was the same knife that was used, unless it was Byakuya that did it and specifically sent her, knowing that she would be able to do what she was supposed to do. Because we already understand that Toko would do literally anything for Byakuya.
Yeah, even
Even if it meant getting herself killed, she would do anything for Byakuya.
Mm-hmm.
The knife found near the body was the same knife that was used to stab it before the explosion. It is also the same knife that Toko had given to Makoto for safekeeping, and the knife the masked assailant was holding when they attacked Makoto. What if he made a deal not with Toko but with Jack? He killed him by bashing him over the head and used the knife to get blood, so that whenever he sent her up there, out like a light, when she got up, she would know what to do. The tarp was hidden among the other items in the tool shed. One side was wet and filthy from mud and grime. The other side was completely clean and dry.
Do anything for Byakuya too.
Yeah, we've already established that they both have a thing for him. The number of chickens in the chicken coop had decreased from 5 to 4. Yasuhiro claims that there were without a doubt 5 chickens just before the nighttime last night, and yet maybe it was chicken blood that was used and they weren't actually a body at all. Maybe this is all faked. Byakuya stated that there was no corpse in the garden just after nighttime last night, so it can be assumed the murder must have taken place sometime after that, except we're going off of Byakuya's word with no backup.
Yeah.
Byakuya also said that he, Yasuhiro, Toko, and Aoi were in the gym the entire night, and none of them were alone at any point, except when you were alone in the garden. The corpse had a mask covering its head, a white jacket covering the body, a knife had been thrust into the abdomen, and there were bloodstains around the
Well,
wound.
based on the timeline, this was before they all met up. Because he went to go look for everybody. Because he's one of the first people who found the Monokuma.
Yes, look for everybody.
Yeah, fair. But I'm just saying, that's the story.
The body had stopped bleeding, but the blood was still wet. It was noted, however, that there is no blood on the ground around the body. Mukuro Ikusaba, female, known as the Ultimate Soldier, she became obsessed with the military from a young age. Okay, that's a weird one. She disappeared while on vacation in Europe and reappeared in Japan 3 years later. Apparently, every member of Fenrir gets a tattoo somewhere on their body to represent their membership in the group. Apparently, the killing game began with 16 participants, all students. It is assumed that Mukuro Ikusaba was the 16th student. Monokuma also revealed that the reason Kyoko wears gloves is to hide something she doesn't want anyone to see, burns. The wood block decoration found in Kyoko's room, it looks like it's actually a key to one of the lockers in the dojo. set of titanium arrows was found in a dojo locker. They appeared to be 10 in total. Along with the arrows, there was also a watered up ball of duct tape in the locker. The duct tape had traces of blood on it. It's assumed that this was related to the case, but nobody can imagine how. Kyoko used Monokuma's secret tool, which granted access to any room in the school, to sneak into the second floor of the dorms. This area seems to have no monitors or security cameras, which is why we don't have access to it. So that's all of our truth bullets.
Right.
If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate.
It's at this point in time that I would like to turn the actual game volume up because I realize that we're probably not going to be spending too much time talking.
Yeah.
So I'm going to turn the game sound up just a little bit
Because they talk the whole time.
they talk the whole time. Yes, we will still be a little bit louder so that we can be heard over the volume, but we want to make sure that the actual game can be heard well.
Okay, well, I'll leave the rest up to you.
Actually, can I? Yeah, perfect. Turn the background volume down a little bit. Make sure voices are completely totally up. Okay, movement Bob, no. Resetting, okay, that's it. That'd be like if we were walking, it would be...
Oh, yeah.
We turned that off because it was sickening.
Yeah.
Well then,
background
let's discuss the
sickening.
specifics
Yeah.
of the victim. First, we need to clarify who exactly the unidentified victim is.
I like
It's
how,
Kyoko. There's no other explanation.
I like how all the characters just stopped commenting on every time the fucking room changed.
But Kyoko's standing right there.
No, that's a ghost.
But she has legs and stuff.
Well, that's just because she's like the latest evolution in ghost technology.
Ah, yes, ghost technology.
Mm-hmm.
That's a thing.
Let me scoot over.
Nah, it's good.
There's a limit to how much
This chair is
ridiculously
finally
I can
fall apart.
tolerate.
It does not actually stay up. It just leans. Like it's supposed to stay right here.
Yeah.
So I could push into it, but whenever I lean back, I just fall all the way away.
Oof.
I can sometimes get it to stay. But it doesn't seem like it wants to today.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I just have to prove that the corpse isn't Kyoko, right? Then let's compare Kyoko's traits to the traits of the dead body.
Her traits?
One important trait Kyoko has that proves the body doesn't belong to her. Kyoko's gloves.
I got it! I'm talking about her gloves. They'll give us some insight into the mystery. I'm sure of it.
In that case, I think it would be helpful if someone explained why she actually wears those gloves.
And would you happen to know the answer?
In fact, Monokuma told me. Apparently you have scars on your hands you don't want anyone to see.
Oh, you know, now that I think about it, the corpse wasn't wearing any gloves, right?
In fact, it was wearing fake nails that wouldn't fit in
They
gloves.
probably just got burnt up in the explosion. I'm not convinced. The ghost is just trying to fool us all.
Oh, please.
There's no way that corpse is Kyoko. But if we can't prove why, we're gonna get stuck here and the case won't move forward. Don't have any choice but to... Really?
What?
Just... Why are we doing this now?
That Kyoko there is just a ghost.
Impossible.
I just find it ridiculous that we're doing this in the
Okay,
middle of this
then
trial
prove
right
it.
now.
Prove she's not a ghost.
The dead body wasn't wearing gloves.
What is it?
They got burnt
that's
up
right,
in the
it's-
explosion.
Then she was wearing gloves before the explosion?
Well, yeah, she must have been wearing gloves. Cause that corpse is absolutely Kyoko.
This entire discussion is idiotic.
What are my bullets? I've got fake nails,
Kyoko
tattoo on the
there is
right
just a
hand,
ghost.
exploded body analysis.
Impossible.
Nah, it's fake nails for
Okay,
sure.
then prove it. Prove she's not a ghost.
Prove
dead body
she's
wasn't
prove
wearing
you're
gloves.
not a robot. That's what it
They
was.
got burnt
I was trying to
up
figure,
in
like,
the
why
explosion.
does
No
that
one's
say?
harmful anything.
Yeah,
Then
I was
she
like,
was wearing
why?
gloves
Why does
before
this?
the
Yeah, the
explosion?
robot. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
she
the other
must have been
NPC,
wearing
yes,
gloves.
Yes. But now it's time for the robot.
Robot test. Prove. Prove you're not a robot. That's what it was. I was trying to figure out. Was it prove he's not a ghost?
No,
I was like, why
there's
does that
no
sound so
way
familiar?
the corpse was wearing gloves. Whoever it was, they were wearing fake nails, remember? I imagine trying to wear gloves over nails like that would have been a pretty big pain. Besides, Kyoko wears gloves to hide her hands, right? It'd be pretty weird for someone who's self-conscious about their hands to wear fake nails, don't you think?
Jeez, man, you don't know women, huh? They're complicated like that.
Not Kyoko.
If anyone doesn't know women, it's you.
Well, Kyoko, any thoughts?
These gloves were custom made to the size of my hands to make sure they don't interfere with my daily life. If I wore fake nails, the gloves wouldn't fit properly.
Then that's that. The dead body doesn't belong to Kyoko.
Which should have been obvious since she's standing right here.
Okay, so then, who's the real victim? First, we need to figure that out.
That's the first thing I said. You're the one who's been dragging us around in circles.
This idiot. Before we do anything, we have to identify the victim. Everything starts from there. Sprinklers, exploded body analysis, tattoo on the right hand. So if we're talking about the dead body, we're probably going with tattoo on the right hand.
Kyoko
Let's see
really
here.
is still alive. Then who died?
There's gotta be some way to figure it out.
I don't think so. The face was scorched beyond recognition.
That's
And
true.
there wasn't any description in the Monokuma file.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if we can't identify the
We
body...
can identify the body with the tattoo on the
Then
right
there's
hand.
nothing else we can do, right?
That's it. Tattoo on the right hand for the last comment.
If Kyoko really is still alive, then who died?
I am noticing that without that,
There's gotta be some
like
way to
calm
figure it
trait,
out.
my cursor is just
I don't
drifting
think
a
so.
lot more.
The face was
I'm not.
scorched beyond
If you've ever wondered,
recognition.
I'm not the one just sort of
And
like
there
letting
wasn't
it
any
wander
description
like
in the
that. It just does
Monokuma
that.
file.
Well, if we can't identify the body...
No, that's wrong. There was one clue left
getting
behind
it
that we
more and
can
more
use
every
to
time that we
identify the
play.
body.
What? For real?
If you're lying, you'll die a cruel and unusual death.
Cruel and unusual death. This I gotta see.
She's just being stupid. Ignore them, Makoto. Tell us what you're talking about.
The key to figuring out who it was is the tattoo on the back of her hand.
Oh, yeah. The design's pretty strange, huh? Is this a dog?
Her master must have made her get it. To be like, you're my bitch.
Hearing her do that reminds me of the what was it?
Seriously? They
Bitch.
really did something that
From,
humiliating?
Game Grumps when they were doing the Mickey Mouse capades. What's Minnie doing? You bitch.
No, that's not it. The identity of the victim is hidden within that tattoo.
Oh, really?
If you compare the tattoo to other information we have, the victim's identity could become clear. We'll go to Usaba's file.
I got it! The Fenrir Mercenary
Yeah, we're
Corps.
getting better at
That's
these.
the name of the military group Mukuro Ikusaba belonged to.
Okay, so...
To show that they're a member of the team, each soldier that joins the squad would get a tattoo representing Fenrir somewhere on their body.
Fenrir?
The image that represents Fenrir is a dog. Really? We're gonna do like a Hangman's Gambit about a fucking dog? Wolf. Fine. Whatever.
Where's the W's?
I shot two bullets.
Now
I
I
shot two
understand.
words. I shot two letters. Why was that? Why was that a fucking Hangman's Gambit?
Representation
Have one
of
in there
Fenrir
somewhere.
is a wolf.
Fenrir, the wolf of Ragnarok. It's from Norse mythology. A huge, world-ending wolf beast. He's the child of the trickster god Loki, and a female giant.
After all this time, we finally got a glimpse of the literary all-star.
A wolf tattoo. Then that means...
Exactly. The body we found had a tattoo of a wolf. Which means that person must have once belonged to Fenrir. So it must have been Mukuro.
What?
Hold on. Isn't she the one that was behind this whole thing?
You sound surprised, but you're absolutely right. Yes, indeed. The trial this time is to solve the murder of Mukuro Ikusaba.
Are you saying the mastermind is dead? And now we have to have a cool-ass trial?
No. It means we were wrong in thinking that Mukuro was the mastermind at all.
But I mean, being the ultimate despair seems like a pretty mastermindy title to me.
They were the ultimate soldier.
Maybe we shouldn't have been thinking of her as the ultimate despair in the first place.
She was the ultimate soldier.
After all, looking at her profile, I didn't see anything that would fit such a description. All it said was that she was the ultimate soldier. If I remember correctly, that other information came from Kyoko. That's what you told Makoto, right?
So that means Kyoko got it wrong?
Then who was she? Who was Mukuro Ikusaba? She's been gone this whole time? And when she finally turns up, she gets killed.
Usually when there's a scene where an important character dies, it has a lot more detail.
That's because Mukuro Ikusaba is in Kyoko's body.
So you're saying she wasn't
So
an important
Kyoko,
character?
who was in Mukuro's body, did not have the training of an ultimate soldier, which is why Kyoko has no problems probing dead bodies.
Which would mean she was the same as us. Just another participant.
Then who's the real mastermind?
It must have been the Hope's Peak Academy headmaster after all.
No, the headmaster has nothing to do with it.
But how can we trust that? We already know your information about Mukuro was wrong.
My information was not wrong.
Okay. We're in the middle of a trial right now. Figuring out who killed Mukuro is first and foremost. Please limit all future prattle, chatter, and chit-chat as much as possible.
Fine. Uncovering the identity of the mastermind will have to wait. But remember this. No matter what happens, we will find out who you really are. I stake my family name on it.
I have officially decided to completely ignore all such attempts at provocation. Now then, just so nobody's confused, let me state this one more time for the record. The reason we're having a class trial is because a murder among the students has taken place. Hammer that point straight into your big ol' brains!
What you're
Somebody
saying is that
here
both
murdered
the victim
someone.
and the culprit are part of the student body?
Then one of us killed Mukuro?
Wait, no! There's a chance that there's some mystery 17th person who's been hiding all along!
Nope. There are only 16 students in total that have been taking part in these events.
Seriously? Then one of us killed Mukuro?
Who did it? Who's the killer this time?
Get a hold of yourself. We've already narrowed down the list of possible suspects.
Huh?
I'm sure you realize who I'm talking about, right, Makoto? Who the evidence points to?
I mean, it's probably myself and Makoto.
I got it! You've narrowed it down to Kyoko and me, right?
Why do you say that?
Allow me to explain. Just after nighttime
Because everybody
last
else
night, I
was
went to the garden,
at nighttime,
so I
yeah.
can confirm that at that point, there was no dead body there. So, the murder must have taken place after I left the garden. However, Hiro, Toko, Hina, and I were in the gym the entire time.
The gym?
That's right. The four of us were there trying to dismantle Monokuma. The whole time, we were very careful not to go anywhere alone. We even went to the bathroom in pairs. All of which is to say, the four of us all have alibis. The only ones without alibis
Are me and Makoto. That's why you're able to narrow down the list of suspects.
exactly so.
So the only suspects now are me and Kyoko. Can't let that stand. Somehow I have to clear my name.
I have something I'd like to say regarding the whole alibi thing.
Are you thinking of raising an objection?
Well, before that, I just want to try and get a better idea of what time the murder took place. Doing that might reveal some kind of clue.
Whatever you want. Somebody go ahead and help him out.
Me and Byakuya can both confirm that the body wasn't in the garden at... Well, it was after nighttime for sure. I'd
Oh, that's
say
right.
it must have been around 10 o'clock.
Yasuhiro were in the garden together. Because he went up to the garden to get Yasuhiro.
Right.
So the murder must have happened after 10 p.m.
Then I guess we can say the time frame for the murder was between then and when we found the body?
Which was around
but
9.
What time did we find the body?
The one who saw the body first was Toko, right? And she went to go get the pickaxe.
At 9 o'clock.
I got it! The
So we
body
pin the
must have
blame
been
on Kyoko
discovered
and
at
Makoto?
9 a.m.
Nah, I think
since
I think
that's
there's
when
more
Toko
to this
went
that'll
get
get
the
revealed.
pickaxe.
Well, if we pin the blame on us, we lose. So,
Now then, Toko, what time is it? Yeah.
He's right. It had to be around then.
So we can be totally sure the murder happened sometime between 10 at night and 9 in the morning.
For me, I was already asleep before nighttime hit, so I don't have an alibi after 10 o'clock. But I'm sure I met up with everyone else before 9 this morning.
We ran into each other in the dining hall, right? That was around... Oh yeah! Right around 7:30. I remember checking right before I went in, so I'm totally sure about it.
Which means from 10 p.m. to 7:30 a.m., you don't have an alibi.
Murder happened between 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. and 9 a.m. and I don't have an alibi from 10 to 7:30. Okay, then it looks like the game has begun. If I can't prove an alibi for that period, then I just have to prove the murder didn't happen during the time I don't have an alibi. To do that, I have to make it clear when the body ended up in the garden. It's gonna be sprinklers, except that's gonna be
We've
refuted
established
later.
a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
Yep, and Makoto doesn't have an alibi for most of that time.
Yeah, from 10 o'clock to 7:30.
7:30 and
That's
sprinklers.
more than enough time to commit murder, I should think. So Makoto, if you have any objections, now would be the
I'll be
time.
heartbroken if Kyoko's the murderer. Same. I think I've got it. I think it's sprinklers at
We've established a
7:30
time frame for the murder.
because the sprinklers go
It
off
took
at 7,
place
so the body
somewhere
would be
between
soaked
10 o'clock
otherwise.
at night
Except that's gonna get refuted because we've got
And
that
9
fucking
o'clock
tarp.
in the morning.
Yep, and Makoto doesn't have an alibi for most of that time.
Sure.
Yeah, from 10 o'clock to 7:30.
I just don't want us to lose.
That's
Fragments
more than
near the
enough
dead
time to
body
commit murder,
would
I should
be
think.
also a thing because
So Makoto, if you have any objections, now would be the time.
The sprinklers is correct.
in which case I should be able to figure out when the body must have appeared in the garden. So sprinklers was correct.
We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night
That's the only
and
other
9 o'clock in
Yeah,
the
so I
morning.
shoot it at
Yeah.
Really?
And Makoto doesn't have an alibi for most of that
7:30 if you
time.
want.
Yeah,
I know,
from
it
10
just seems
o'clock
kind of
to 7:30.
That's more than enough
No,
time
no.
to commit murder, I should think.
I trust you because I
So,
trust you
Makoto,
because
if you have
the
any
thing is whatever.
objections, now
Technically
would be the
speaking, it
time.
makes sense that I would be able to narrow it down because we know that in fact it took place at least
We've
after
established a time frame for the murder.
10.
It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock.
No, that's wrong.
I just think that that's dumb. I can't understand the reasoning behind this being how it works.
Actually, the murder couldn't have happened anywhere near 10 o'clock. It had to have taken place way later.
I guess because sprinklers,
What makes
yeah,
you
whatever.
say that?
Because of the sprinklers in the garden. The sprinklers are set to go off right at 7:30 every morning, right? So if the body had been in the garden before 7:30, then it should have been completely soaked.
Oh, hold on. I remember this part perfectly. The body was wet. Dripping wet, in fact.
Sorry, Toko, but you're wrong.
I'm wrong? How? Are you saying only the mouth down south was wet? How dare you spew such indecent words!
The mouth down south.
No, I'm saying that the body was wet, but not because of the sprinklers.
What do you mean? By denying the sprinkler, are you trying to deny my entire existence?
Man, you're totally wacko.
If you really think it wasn't the sprinkler, you'd better tell us why!
It was the sprinklers that got body wet. All I have to do is hit Toko with certain evidence, and that should do it. If you look at the body itself, it should make it clear. Are we doing bullet time? Yep, moment of truth. It's bullet time. Really quick, what are my... Let's see here. What are my controls again?
I think it's left click, right click.
Right click is mouse, reload is tab, fire is left click, select truth bullet is Q, activate fever time is space. So reloading is tab, right click to okay.
I admit nothing. I hate you. No, no, no! I don't know anything! Hold on! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. I hate you. No, no, no! I don't know anything! Hold on! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. I hate you. No, no, no! I don't know anything! How can you say
I've only got the
should
one
prove
bullet.
it.
That is always really stressful because I've got so many different things I gotta
Just
keep track
remember
of.
what the body was
I'm
like
literally
after
not
the
looking at the screen. Like,
explosion.
if you ever look at my
And
eyes
you'll
when I'm
see
doing
why
that,
it wasn't
I'm
the
just zoned
sprinklers.
out looking at how many bullets I have and where the tempo thing is. Hey, Fern turns. Danganronpa. Danganronpa. Did I do M's instead of N's? I don't think I did. Double check the title for me.
Yeah, you were correct.
Alright, I think
The top
they're
half
making
of the
fun.
body was wet, yes, but the bottom half was completely dry. If the sprinklers got the body wet, shouldn't the whole body have been wet?
So they only got the top wet? The bottom was completely dry? What a brutal maniac!
What the hell are you going
I'm
on
so
about?
Sick of her.
Let's just move on. The reason only the top half was wet was because
I threw water on the body after it exploded and caught fire.
while the body was still on fire, I doused it with water. But only the part on fire, the top half.
Oh, then I guess the sprinklers really didn't do it.
So if the sprinklers didn't get the body wet, then the murder must have taken place sometime after the sprinklers turned on at 7:30 in the
Was the
morning.
water wet?
Which means she must have been killed
was
sometime
dry water.
between then and when the body
It was dehydrated
discovered at
water.
9.
But
Just add
Makoto's
water.
alibi was only missing from 10 o'clock last night to 7:30 this morning, right?
So there's no way Makoto could have done it. I guess you had an alibi after all. Good for you.
In which case, the only one left without an alibi is Kyoko.
Kyoko's the only one without an alibi, which would mean that Mukoto's killer is. I refuse to believe it. Kyoko murdered someone?
I'd
That's...
just like to say one thing.
Please do.
If you vote for me and I die here, the mystery of this school will stay hidden forever. Which is why I can't let that happen.
So are you saying you're not the culprit?
Of course I'm not. I have no reason to kill anyone. This is a trap the mastermind has laid for us.
A trap?
We're this far into the game, and now you decide to blame me? Stop wasting time. Stop wasting energy. You really think your little trick is gonna work?
Shut up, you!
You got it, boss. Shutting up now.
Anyway, Kyoko, you actually did have a reason to kill her.
Huh? She did?
She thought Mukuro was the ultimate despair. In other words, the mastermind behind everything. So she killed her to try and put a stop to all this. Isn't that right, Kyoko?
Would be a good
But
motive.
you made
However,
one
Kyoko would probably
catastrophic
figure it out.
mistake. Mukuro wasn't the mastermind at all. And as a result, we were forced into another trial, something I'm sure you weren't at all expecting.
So, That was her motive?
If she had a motive and no alibi, well then, I think it's pretty clear Kyoko's gotta be the culprit.
I'm not the only one without an alibi. Makoto's explanation is still insufficient.
Huh?
The sprinklers didn't get the body wet, but that doesn't mean the murder happened when he said it did.
What are you...
Are we getting blamed?
Because you see, there is a way the body could have avoided getting wet.
Interesting. I'm listening.
The tarp.
All it would take is covering the body with a certain something to keep it from getting wet.
Tarp.
I got it! You're talking about the tarp, aren't you?
You catch on
Yes?
quick.
What? Makoto 2 doesn't believe Kyoko murdered anyone.
You're right. All you'd have to do is cover the body with the tarp, and that'd take care of the water. In fact, that's exactly what the killer did. The dirt pattern on the tarp can attest to that. Only one side of the tarp got dirty, because that's the side that got covered in water. The side that faced down over the body, meanwhile, kept perfectly clean. This proves that the killer used the tarp to keep the body from getting soaked.
But why would they go to all that effort just to keep the body from getting wet?
Most likely so they could cloud the issue of when the murder actually took place. In other words, to create an excuse exactly like the one Makoto just gave us.
Oh damn. She's firing back at me somehow. Make it look like I'm the killer.
Because she has a long game. She's playing that long game.
If it was used the way Kyoko said, the tarp must have touched the body, right? But the body was covered in blood.
Wait. Something's not right.
And what might that be?
Can't worry about Kyoko's motivations. If I don't do something, everyone's gonna think I'm the killer. I have to refute what Kyoko said. Make your argument. Explode body analysis. Fragmented. Before the explosion is probably what I need.
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side...
It's fragments near the
because
dead body.
The sprinkler got that side wet.
Fragments near the dead
But the
body.
underside
Body
of the
before
tarp,
explosion and exploded
It was
body
totally
analysis.
spotless, right?
It's because that side was
It might be
protected from
exploded
the
body
water.
analysis.
Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty.
It would have gotten dirty from the knife. Is that before?
Hadn't tried yet.
Was that before or the analysis? That'd be part of the analysis, correct? Hold on, let me see here. Upper half remained okay. Because of the upper half was soaking wet while the bottom half remained dry. Explosion of like burnt half body now, that's it here. Knife was seen, body before the explosion. Blood, the body had stopped bleeding. Okay, so it's body before the explosion. It's not the explosion.
By covering the body with the tarp,
Huh?
the killer
What,
prevented
is this
it
one?
from getting wet.
Yeah.
Why the
So
fuck?
the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
It said
But the
nothing in the
underside of the
analysis.
tarp-
Exploded body analysis beforehand.
It was totally spotless, right?
So hold on.
It's because that side was protected from the
Oh, never
water.
mind. I was lying. I was reading.
Since it was facing down toward
I was gonna say, like, that makes no fucking sense because I literally
it
just.
didn't get dirty.
Yeah, I was like, that makes no fucking sense because this is the one that mentioned the blood.
You're right.
This is
I'm
literally the
sorry.
truth bullet that mentioned the blood.
You were right,
Actually,
and I'm very sorry.
one side being clean is pretty strange if you think about it. Because the blood wasn't dry before the body got blown up, right? Byakuya said it himself. Not to touch it, or you might get some on you. If you put a tarp on a body in that state, it absolutely would have gotten blood on it.
Well, maybe the culprit washed it, so nobody would know they'd used it.
Then the body would be wet.
If they had, they would have washed both sides. Just washing the one side wouldn't hide anything.
Oh, yeah, true.
More than that, what if the very blood we saw on the body was meant as a kind of camouflage?
Blood was
What if, after the killer used the tarp to avoid the sprinklers, they then covered the body in blood that didn't belong to the victim?
The chicken.
You mean someone else's blood? Where would they get something like that?
I know! They could have grabbed some of the blood packs from the nurse's office. That's what Hifumi did, right? When he pretended to be dead?
Missing, that would be a good idea.
No, that's not what happened this time. The killer got the blood from right there in the garden.
The chicken.
I got it! Could it have been chicken blood?
What? Chicken blood?
When I checked the chicken coop before the murder, there were 5 chickens. But after the murder, there were only 4.
So, you're saying someone killed a chicken and then covered the body with its blood? Man, that's messed up.
Killing a living thing just to do something like that is awful. They should have at least eaten it.
I wonder if the killer had to get the blood from the scene so they wouldn't be spotted walking around. Anyway, there's no denying that a chicken went missing, which provides a basis for my theory.
Perhaps, but even so, there's one thing that still doesn't make sense. You said the culprit used the tarp to avoid the water and then covered the body in blood, right? But if that's the case, then the blood should have soaked into the ground around the body.
And there was no blood around the body.
But that's not what we saw. Only the victim's clothing had blood on it. The ground was completely clean.
I have to agree, that certainly is strange. Maybe they didn't apply the blood at the scene. Maybe they covered the coat in blood beforehand.
They covered it beforehand?
When you discovered the body, was it wearing the coat like you normally would?
And it was backwards.
I think so.
That's how they get behind the bomb.
Wait,
The
no.
bomb,
The head was through the
blood
neck
on it.
hole, but the arms weren't in the sleeves.
Then that settles it.
Sorry, I'm having a tough time keeping up. What settles what?
Here's what happened. The murder took place before the sprinklers went off, but the body didn't get wet because the killer covered it with the tarp. Then, later, at the same time the killer was gathering up the tarp, they pulled the coat over the body, the coat they'd already covered in blood. This series of cover-ups was meant to disguise the actual time the murder occurred. They wanted us to think the murder happened sometime after the sprinklers had gone off, at 7:30.
If that's actually what took place, it certainly becomes possible that the murder happened earlier.
But to pull all that off, wouldn't they have had to go back to the garden after the sprinklers turned off?
That actually wouldn't have been all that difficult.
Huh?
They already had the coat ready, so they just had to grab the tarp and pull the coat over the body.
Except we were with Aoi the entire time after 7:30.
They'd be
So
done
that's
in
our
no
alibi.
time.
Yep.
Maybe, but still.
That clears us because from 7:30 until the body was found, we were with people. So we couldn't have done it.
Hina, after you met up with Makoto in the dining hall, did you two stay together from that point on?
Oh no. I headed off to the gym, and Makoto didn't show up till later.
Wait, really?
Then he had plenty of time to spare, wouldn't you say?
That's not...
Don't bother saying it's not possible.
I must admit, Kyoko's reasoning is sound. Makoto's alibi is inadequate.
And the suspicion falls back on me again. But why? Why is Kyoko trying to entrap me? I understand.
Because she's playing that long game.
Sky's dead body has been added to the truth bullet section of the handbook.
She's playing
Well
the long
then,
game, boys.
it looks like we're back to square one. Makoto's alibi is no good, so once again, our suspects are him and Kyoko.
For serious, man? Which one of them did it? Hey, why don't we let luck decide? Let's flip a coin. 50-50 odds.
Except we're the ultimate luck.
Oh!
See? Pretty good idea, right?
No, not that. I just remembered something super serious.
Well, don't just stand there. Out with it.
You know that knife we found all black and burnt?
The one we found stuck in the body before it exploded, right?
That was the one.
According to the Monokuma file, the knife went all the way through, from front to back. So, what about it?
I'm pretty sure I'd seen that knife somewhere before. That's what I thought when I first saw it. I just remembered.
What are we gonna do with it? Yeah, this is the one that they gave to Makoto. And Kyoko wanted us to hang on to it.
The knife we gave to Makoto?
You don't seem surprised. You must have noticed earlier.
Yeah,
Then why did you hide that fact?
it's not that I hid it. It's just...
Couldn't be sure of what actually happened last night. Thought maybe I really did kill her.
Suspicious! Very suspicious indeed. The knife we found stuck in the body came from Makoto. Now I'm totally convinced he did it. 12,000% convinced.
Considering everything I've told him now, I should be able to make it clear. I have to prove that I didn't murder anyone. I'm not the killer. Let's see here. Disguised dead body. Exploded body analysis. Fragments near the dead body. Let's see what
The
everybody's talking
knife
about.
we found lodged in the dead body.
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
Yep, that's true.
It really is, isn't it? I was afraid of that.
If he did have that knife before, then that seals it. Makoto did it.
Nope.
Just because I had the knife once, that automatically makes me the killer?
Well, getting stabbed is what killed her, right?
No.
So there's no question. You
Do we
took
have the
that knife
Monokuma
of
file?
yours and
No.
killed her with it.
What a horrible man you are, Makoto.
So I think I have to get... I've already established the coat was put on the body after the trap was removed, which means the knife was thrust through the coat into the body.
The knife we found lodged in the dead body.
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
It really is, isn't it?
Now, what does disguised body say? Yeah, what does it say? 'Cause I gotta figure that out. Murder took place before the spring was turned on. The suspect was covered the body of the tarp before it went. Later than they removed the tarp, the suspect placed the white jacket on the body. This jacket had previously been treated with blood to make it look like the corpse had been wearing it.
The knife couldn't have been in the body already.
So that wasn't what killed it. So disguised dead body
If
is what I
he did
need.
have that knife before, then that seals it. Makoto did it.
Just because I had the knife once, that automatically makes me the killer?
Well, getting stabbed is what killed her, right?
No.
No, that's
What killed her? The chickens did the murder. I just saw that.
100% chickens did it.
The stab
I'm
wound
sad
isn't
that we
what
didn't
killed
see that
Mukuro.
since, you posted
That should be clear from the description of the cover-up we just heard.
Lies! We never talked about what killed her.
No, don't you remember? The killer covered the dead body with the tarp and then put the bloody coat on it, right? In other words, the victim never wore that blood-stained coat until after they were dead.
Okay, fine. So what?
So, when we discovered the body, the knife had been thrust through the coat along with the body. Meaning, if she wasn't stabbed until the coat was put on, and she was already dead at that point, obviously the stab wound isn't what killed her.
Maybe you stabbed her twice. Once to kill her and once to cover it
The
up.
Monokuma file specifically says there was only one stab.
I got it! The Monokuma file clearly states that there was only one stab wound.
Oh yeah, it sure did. Totally forgot about that.
Then the knife...
Was just another piece of camouflage set up by the true killer. They probably stabbed her to draw attention away from what actually killed her.
Getting hit in the head with something akin to a metal pipe.
Exploding the body afterward was probably meant to do the same thing. The explosion severely damaged the body, making it impossible to know what really killed her. It was all the killer's attempt to destroy all evidence of their crime.
So they wanted us to notice the stab wound and then detonated the body afterward. They meant for us to latch onto the knife as the cause of death, then destroy any evidence proving otherwise.
But the
Oh,
Monokuma
hey,
file
I have
got
a
it all.
question. It kind of goes back to the beginning, but what's the deal with that explosion anyway? Why'd the body just blow up all of a sudden like that?
If you bothered to put that lump of gray matter between your ears to use, you'd know the answer.
Shut up,
Well, if you're
Byakuya.
so smart, just tell me.
Seriously, shut up, Byakuya.
I'll tell you. I bet some unknown quantum particle caused an atomic level spontaneous combustion.
No.
I might be dumb, but even I'm not dumb enough to believe that.
Go ahead, Makoto. Tell her or we won't make any headway on this.
Fragment of their body.
I got it! After the explosion, we found a tiny fragment of something on the ground near the body, right? That fragment reveals the cause of the explosion.
Huh? You know, I feel like I've seen something like it somewhere before.
That's only natural. Because, of course, we saw the same thing when we dismantled Monokuma.
Aoi with her titties all the way out.
All the way. All
It's
the way.
part of a bomb.
Oh, then the explosion was because of the Monokuma bomb.
Anyway, the culprit's motive is becoming more and more obvious by the minute. They wanted the knife wound to look like the fatal injury so that we'd suspect Makoto. And the only one who would benefit from that is the only other possible suspect, you, Kyoko.
Hold on a second, Byakuya.
What's the problem?
Well, I just feel like we need to think this through. We still don't know what actually killed the victim.
That's true. It's definitely bugging me. What really killed her?
Fine, I have no problem with that. Let us continue the debate. It won't change the facts of the case regardless.
We need to determine what ultimately killed the victim. I need to concentrate. Monokuma file is all I have. I'm probably gonna grab a bullet.
Then, shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
The explosion didn't kill her for sure. I guess.
Well, yeah. She was already totally dead when that happened.
And it wasn't because of the knife, right?
That is also true.
Then there's only one other thing.
Oh, yeah. According to the Monokuma file, that's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
And more than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds across her entire body.
Countless.
All the other wounds of her body weren't fresh, which only leaves...
Then, shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
Back her
No,
head.
that's wrong.
Why would they?
Mukuro died
I mean,
because of the
countless
blow to
injuries
the
is
back of the
wrong,
head
but-
she suffered.
What about the wounds all over the rest of her body? They didn't have anything to do with it?
They were
The
already healed.
Monokuma file makes it clear that those weren't fresh wounds.
Oh yeah, good point. If they were old, I guess they don't really matter.
Okay, then we're safe in assuming the blow to the back of her head is what killed her.
Because this is the body of the ultimate soldier.
But then,
I say the body,
what was the murder
because
weapon?
I'm fairly convinced that Kyoko's actual mind was in that body, and that Mukuro's body, Mukuro's mind is in Kyoko's body.
The Monokuma file says she was hit with a
Welcome for that
blunt
fucking,
object,
conspiracy
about as thick
theory
as a
theory.
metal
Okay, but
pipe.
like, it sounds like a conspiracy
Oh,
theory.
I bet it was the
really
pickaxe.
does.
How is that even possible? If you hit someone with that, it'd cave their skull in completely.
Well, maybe they held it the other way and hit her with the handle.
No way! The balance would be all off. You wouldn't be able to swing it with any kind of power. I wouldn't mind testing it on you if you want.
No thanks. I bet you just hit me with the metal end and call it an accident.
I'd love to scoop out that nasty brain of yours, throw it on the ground, and spit on it.
I feel the same way. Looks like we're on the same page this time.
Seriously?
We want to figure out what killed her, right? It just so happens we already know.
We already know? I knew we could count on you, Master.
So what was it?
Go ahead and tell them, Makoto. Surely you've deduced the real murder weapon?
heavy metal pipe was what it looks like did it.
Yeah.
Wasn't there something that was moved inside the tool shed?
Yeah, I think so.
Or chicken coop, Byakuya's account, body before explosion, Mugo, wooden block key, titanium arrows. They couldn't be talking about the titanium arrows, could they? Oh, but if they bundled them all together, it would be a heavy metal pipe.
Yep.
I got it!
Because that's what the duct tape
Mukuro
covered
was
blood
hit in the
is.
back of the head with something. And that's what killed
They
her.
bundled all of the titanium arrows together to make one heavy blunt object with duct tape, and that's what the duct tape was at the bottom.
And that something was the titanium arrow we found in the locker in the dojo.
An arrow? That's what the culprit attacked Mukuro with?
Indeed. There's no doubt about it.
Are you sure? That sounds kind of weird.
Hey! How dare you backtalk, Master? You have no right!
I'm not back-talking anything. I'm just saying what I think.
Boom. Because there's one more thing about that weapon. One more secret. It's the duct tape. Bloody duct tape, that's what I need.
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right? I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Well, because in the Monokuma file, it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right? It seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
Bam. I don't even need to wait. I know that's the right way to do this. We figured it out on our own a couple seconds ago.
You're right. Just the one arrow would have been too weak. That's why the killer used another weapon.
Another weapon?
Inside the dojo locker, we also found a balled-up wad of duct tape. The killer probably used this duct tape to bind multiple arrows together. Bundling them together using the duct tape would easily create a single weapon as thick as a pipe. And that's exactly what the killer did.
It's similar to Aesop's fable about the bundle of sticks. One stick is weak, but put them together, and they become strong. It's meant to teach cooperation.
Damn, that's harsh.
How is it harsh? Are you even listening?
Anyway, that explains the murder weapon. As for who the culprit is that stashed the weapon in the dojo locker, it was you, Kyoko.
I've never been to the dojo.
Oh no, you absolutely have.
We literally found you in the
How can you say
dojo
that
before.
with such confidence?
Because we have proof, of course. Don't we, Makoto?
If this turns out to be Kyoko, I'm gonna be pissed.
I am
What's the
too.
matter? Surely you don't intend to protect a murderer. You know what will happen if you do, don't you? If you cover for the culprit, there's only one thing that can lead to the death of us all. Remember?
Except
of course I
Kyoko
remember.
didn't have access to her room. She couldn't have put the thing there. Byakuya had access to her room.
Then show us. Show everyone the evidence that proves Kyoko went to the dojo.
I got it! The one thing that proves Kyoko was in the dojo is right here. The key to the dojo locker.
And how does that prove anything?
Because I found it in your room.
It was in my room?
Don't bother trying to play dumb.
Byakuya was
That
the one that
key
had
is
access
just
to you.
the final piece of the puzzle. Your non-existent alibi, your clear motive, your attempts to frame Makoto for the crime. This all proves that you are the true culprit. You can't explain this away, so just give up.
If we get rid of
Hold on a
Byakuya
second.
now, I'm gonna be so happy.
Not this again. You really are dead set on defending her, aren't you?
No, it's not that I want to defend her. It's just there's one more thing I need to ask her. Kyoko, I want you to tell me something. Last night, You were in my room, weren't you? Why? What were you doing there? That's what I need to know.
I was just protecting you.
What?
She was protecting me? Does that mean she knew I was being attacked? She came to my rescue. Do you mean that Kyoko, she killed someone for
That's
me?
enough. The time for idle chatter is over. A verdict is close at hand.
Wait, I'm warning you. Don't make this mistake. I'm not the killer.
I knew you were stubborn, but this is just getting ridiculous.
Really?
Evidence we have
But
covered,
you
though.
should know better than anyone I didn't do it. Can you tell me I'm wrong?
I should know.
Deku should know better than anyone. What does that mean? When the body was found.
We got a door bullet, I guarantee you.
We'll see.
Those words you just spoke. What do you mean?
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer.
Killer.
You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me.
There's proof that you aren't the culprit. Is that what you're saying?
You stated a theory earlier. You said I hid the evidence of my crime in the dojo locker, and then left the locker key in my own room, correct? But could I really have done that?
It's getting to us. Kyoko gave her room key to Byakuya, right? Which would mean...
Those words you just spoke. What do you mean?
Exactly what I said.
I fire this into proof.
I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me.
There's proof that you
Aren't the culprit.
Bam!
No, that's wrong. If I'm right, Kyoko wouldn't have been able to get into her room
Huh? Why not?
because she had given her room key to Byakuya.
I see. So that's what you meant. And if I had the key to your room,
Then obviously I had no way of getting in. Without my room key, I couldn't have possibly put the locker key in there myself. Am I wrong?
it would appear not.
Then you're finally starting to understand.
No, that's not actually true. There was a clear contradiction in what Kyoko would tell us, an obvious lie, but this isn't like her. To try and save herself with such a desperate lie? Did you really feel that threatened? Because she's the killer? Or is it something else? Was there some deeper meaning hidden in what Kyoko said earlier? If you vote for me and I die here, the mystery of this school will stay forever, hidden forever. Which is why I can't let that happen. This is a trap the Mastermind has laid for us. Mastermind's trap. The Mastermind is trying to trap Kyoko. But what if that's not really true? What can I do? What should I do? What should I... Mastermind's trap? The victim was Mukuro and Kyoko killed her. Does Kyoko really know? What am I supposed to do? Kyoko's lie? The only one who knows it's a lie. The only one who could expose it. But who can I trust? What am I supposed to do? Mastermind's trap. Spend all your time trying to avoid danger, you'll never move forward. We know the danger, but if that risk means solving the mystery, we have no choice. What do I do? I have to decide right here and now whether or not to expose Kyoko's lie.
Hold up. Note, if you are attempting to achieve the achievement rogues gallery, first you choose to expose Kyoko's lie. This results in the bad ending of the game. Afterwards, the players will be given the option to try again from this point.
Nah, let's let it go then. I don't really want to play through the whole thing.
Oh no, it'll start you over at this point.
I know, but that's what I'm saying, is I don't want to play, like, wherever this leads.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Let's just go for the good ending for the first shot. Some secret here, something that has to do with Mastermind's trap that Kyoko
Well,
mentioned.
does no one have a rebuttal? Have you decided to accept her assertion as fact? I see. So you still refuse to accept it. I suppose we have to admit that Kyoko didn't put the locker key in her room, that it was someone else.
but who else could it have been?
I mean, Byakuya had a room key, right?
You! What are you trying to imply?
But of course, I have an alibi. From nighttime on, I was with you guys the entire time. I couldn't possibly have killed anyone, or put the key in Kyoko's room.
Well, someone had to put the key in there.
There's only one other possibility I can think of. Someone could have had the key on them, then once they arrived at the scene, pretended to find it there.
What? It had to be Makoto, right?
I don't see any other option.
I see you.
Wait a second. You've got it all wrong. Let's think about it one more time. There's gotta be a hidden side to this case.
Huh? A hidden side?
First of all, there's something off about this entire trial. You all see it, don't you? Mukuro, who we didn't even know existed, suddenly shows up dead, and then we're thrown into a trial. And Kyoko even said, it's a trap the mastermind set for us. So that's why this has to be...
Okay, time's up!
Oh shit! No dead body. Mukuro is in fact in charge of Monokuma and was trying to get somebody to kill somebody here.
Huh? Time's up! Class trial's all over! Everyone can stop talking now!
What? Time's up?
What do you mean time's up? There's no time's up. Since when have we...
It's because you were late, so we had to push back the start time. So then, it's time for voting time, okay? Everyone, please vote using the lever in front of you!
Voting time?
There is a bad ending. A.
Doesn't matter, we're fucking dead.
Well, we got 78 medals.
Now, who will be chosen as the Blackened? Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one?
Hey, hold on!
What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
Oh, it's gonna be me. I'm gonna be the one chosen. Yep, I'm the one chosen, except I'm not guilty. Think I'm the killer? Sorry, man.
Sorry.
It's all your fault. Everyone, you're wrong. Got it all wrong, I didn't do it.
Yes, indeed.
Good job, everyone. Good job.
Yep.
They got it right. No, that's not true. None of this makes any sense. This whole trial doesn't make any sense.
Hey!
Makes perfect sense.
Shing!
It's the same as always. It's just like all the other class trials, and I'm gonna end it the same way.
Thrills,
Time for your
chills,
heart-pounding, positively
kills.
thrilling punishment. Wait, why do I... Kyoko?
I don't expect you to forgive me. I know this is all my fault.
Kyoko.
Let's give it everything we've got! It's punishment time!
So wait, I'm dead? What happens now? If we're the... What? How the fuck? How are we the... How are we the killer? Oh shit, look, it's the gears from the opening of the title. And we're on a fucking conveyor belt. Yeah, this is the thing from the opening of the game.
Shit.
After school lesson. This can't be how we die.
We're very calm about this. Oh, never mind.
Can we stand up?
I love the fucking sex ed class.
Mm-hmm.
Very Monokuma. I have a feeling we know if we stand up, it's going to be more violent.
Fair enough. Hey!
Yeah, we must be tied to something.
Yeah,
Or they didn't want to reanimate another figure.
maybe. Still. What? What's this? What's going on? Hey, was that? Yeah, it had to be.
This
Alter
is-
ego. Alter ego? Is this some stupid virus from that stupid guy? He must have planted it when he invaded my network. Damn it all to hell! I don't want to believe this.
It would seem.
Why are you sticking to the? Oh, because you. Seems you finally made a miscalculation. No, you miscalculated from the very beginning.
What the heck?
What was that?
In other words.
What I'm saying is, you shouldn't have underestimated us.
Hmm.
Why are you talking
long
like you've
game.
already won?
She playing the long game.
I barely felt a thing. It was a pinch and itch. Stupid virus is gone now, got it? And so is Makoto. Maybe I didn't get to smash him flat, but you're never gonna see him again. To waste away in a garbage-strewn pit. In a way, that's even better special punishment. But it's still not enough. I'm still not satisfied. Gonna bring despair to the rest of you, bring despair to the entire world. Is he gone? Hey, Kyoko, what is the meaning of all of this? Just what the hell is going on?
Calm down.
It's okay. We're not the ones being trapped this time.
In other words.
Now it's the mastermind that's ensnared.
What did you
What
say?
are you talking about?
So.
You'll understand soon enough. Very soon indeed. Alter ego just fucking saved us. The massive high school towers over all the other buildings in this bustling urban area. Like the school stands out in the center of the entire world. Wait, this is the beginning of the game. Hope's Peak Academy. Brings in top students from every field imaginable. A government-funded school of privilege. They say that if you come here and manage to graduate, you'll be set for life. I feel like I'm playing fucking Doki Doki Literature Club
Right?
now. With hundreds of years of tradition, it sends the cream of the crop into the workforce every year. It was built to raise hope in the nation's future, which makes Hope's Peak Academy a pretty fitting name. There are two things you need to attend this school. One, you have to have already been attending high school. Two, you have to be the very best at what you do. No ordinary student could enroll here. The only way in is if you scouted by the school itself. And standing there at the gate of the ultimate school, filled with the ultimate students, was me.
Can I be the ultimate bad driver?
Eh,
Does that count?
what? Where am I? I bet he felt heavy. It wouldn't be weird for me to zonk out in the middle of some boring class or whatever, but what was I doing asleep here now? Wasn't any classroom I'd ever been in before. What the heck is going on?
The heck is going on, boys? Oh my gosh.
All the Monokuma stuff is this is the garbage pile. Finally feel my mind and body starting to come back together again, and then I was awake. Or was this just another dream? A dream inside a hopeless nightmare. No, this isn't a dream. I could tell because the stench invading my nostrils was too powerful for a dream.
Hey, since you're reading again, do you want to turn the volume back down slightly, or are you good with it where it is?
Yeah, I can turn the volume down a little bit more now that it's,
Talking time?
yeah.
I just didn't want it to be too loud to overshadow us
Fair enough.
reading.
Trash was piled high across the area. This must be some kind of underground garbage pit. A heck of a situation to find myself in. But that was just the beginning of my problems. Was I going to be stuck in here till I wasted away and died? No, I can't let that happen. Not after my good friend went through to save me. Remember all too well what had happened. Alter ego saved me.
Look at her!
And he used up the last bit of his strength to do it. So I can't give up now. For myself and for my friend. And with that, my pursuit of survival began. First up was to start looking for a way out of here. This is a desk. It's probably the one that fell down here with me. That's a rocket and a tank. I better not think too much
man.
about what I'm seeing down here.
How everybody else died.
Is that an airplane? Something like that wind up in a school's garbage pit. And then obviously the door with the key. Locked. No matter how many times I pushed or pulled and kicked at it, it didn't budge. Getting out of here wasn't going to be that easy. Well, if I'm not getting out of here anytime soon, decided to look around for some food. There's plenty of food here, but it's all rotten. That was pointless too. Next, I search for some water. Let me be sure which liquids I can drink and which ones are all around a bad idea. Again, pointless. I feel like I'm blocked in on all sides. That's still not enough reason to give up because I'm still alive. As long as I'm alive, I'll never give up. For making that proud declaration, the next thing I decided to do was go to sleep. My sleep was deep and uninterrupted. That was my only way to preserve what little strength I had left after not being able to eat or drink. I can't be sure, but I think at least a full day had to have passed. All I did was sleep and sleep. It was like I was waiting for some kind of sign to come falling from the sky. However, what fell from the sky wasn't a sign, not exactly. It was Monokumi's key. Strange sound pierced my silent isolation, jarring me awake. As I watched the pile of garbage jostled and formed an odd shape. Did something fall down over there? Something fell from above. What could it have been? Did a giant piece of trash just fall down here? Carefully stretch my hand toward it.
Just a second.
It's Kyoko! Before we even emerged from the pile of garbage, I knew who it was.
Oh, look at her. She's so cute.
They're fucking cup ramen.
She's so cute.
Kyoko?
Indeed.
You look like you're doing better than I expected. What are you doing here?
So-
Is that obvious? I'm here to help you. I'm glad to hear that, Kyoko. You got a bit of garbage in your hair. She ever had a quick, sharp shake to get rid of the trash, then face me again.
Hey,
Cute.
First, I have something for you.
Yay.
Go ahead and eat. We can talk once you're finished. Thank you! Snatched the bread and water and was holding out for me. Within seconds, it was in my mouth and making its way toward my stomach. Whew, I really hit the spot. Now I've got all the energy I need to keep going. So you still haven't given up, then? Of course not! After all, the fact I can keep going forward is about all I'm good at. Well, that's not such a bad thing to be good at. What do you got for us? But Kyoko, why'd you come rescue me?
so
To pay a debt, or... No, to atone. Atone?
you.
During that trial, even though you knew I was lying, you didn't say anything. So you knew that I knew.
Indeed.
But even though I knew, I did nothing to help you.
I
I abandoned you. Don't say that. You didn't abandon me. No, that's exactly what I did. I abandoned you in order to save my own life. You weren't trying to save me, and I couldn't bring myself to do... You were trying to save me, and I couldn't bring myself to do the same for you.
However,
But listen, not that I'm trying to make excuses, but there was a reason that I had to survive no matter the cost. Why did you have to survive?
it's true.
I'll tell you everything. The reason I have to survive
In other words,
is so that I can do what I came to this school to do. What? Made up my mind to come to Hope's Peak Academy for a very important reason. Do you have some sort of reason to come to Hope's Peak?
indeed.
That's right. At least I did. Once. Once?
I
Until recently, I had forgotten what it was. That's her amnesia. Then, is it really true you lost your memory?
Makoto.
Do you remember Makoto? Do you remember the first thing that happened to each of us as soon as we arrived at this school? You're talking about when we fainted, right? I fainted, and when I woke up, I was trapped here.
That's right.
I fainted too, and when I woke up, I noticed a strange feeling of separation with myself, a disconnect.
It would seem.
Thinking back on it now, at that point my memory was gone. And that time, I'd forgotten. I couldn't remember why I'd come to the school, and I couldn't remember what my ultimate ability was. But, what would make you forget all that?
Hey,
Strange, isn't it? It's hard to imagine it happened by chance. Seems much too convenient. Are you saying you think you lost your memory because...
indeed.
I don't think. I'm positive it was the work of the mastermind. They stole my memory. But why would they want to do that? There's only one reason I can come up with. Because of my purpose and my ability. Somehow they would interfere with the mastermind's plans. Did the mastermind just stole them from you?
However,
And it could also mean, somehow my memories may be connected to the mystery of the school and the mastermind. Which is why I have to get them back. That's why I've been investigating things by myself this whole time. But if what you say is true, why didn't you ask for the rest of us to help you?
why is that?
If I did that, we all worked as one, the mastermind would have noticed right away. Plus, there's always the chance that the mastermind is actually one of us.
Correct.
Well, don't make too big a deal of it. It's just a possibility. But since it is a possibility, we can't ignore it, right? Mastermind, one of us. If she believed that, then of course she couldn't trust anyone around her. In which case, it only makes sense that she would look into her missing memory by herself.
However,
That being said, there was a limit to what I could do by myself, which is why I asked you to help me. But why me? Because among everyone, you were the least likely to be the mastermind. That was just intuition, but...
Because Makoto was
let's
baby.
see. Your intuition was right, though. There's no way an ordinary kid like me could have ever been the mastermind.
I understand. I should understand everything. My goal isn't to get out of here. It's to stay here.
It's just like the dream I had before, but why did that just happen?
Listen,
You okay? Oh yeah, it's nothing. It is nothing, right?
hey,
Even now, I still trust you, you know. It's just, I'm not used to relying on others.
correct.
I know I never asked you for help the right way, so I understand if you're not convinced. Honestly, I was convinced. I think that's just her personality. So what do you got, Kyoko? So, what did it turn out? Were you able to remember anything?
So...
I think there's still a lot I don't remember, but at the very least, I was finally able to recall my purpose and my ability. You mentioned your ability. My ability, what everyone else would know me for. I am the ultimate detective! Da-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. So obvious. The ultimate detective?
Correct.
The reason I came to Hope's Peak Academy was someone I had to find here in the school. To find someone?
So...
Who? Well, it was the headmaster of Hope's Peak Academy. Why did you want to find the headmaster? Because he's my father. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba, Star Wars! What?
In other words...
What? I was separated from him as a child. As it turns out, he became the headmaster of Hope's Peak. Kyoko's dad is Hope's Peak's headmaster? That explains when Alter Ego told us who he thought the headmaster was involved. I'll find a way. No matter what it takes, I will find the headmaster.
No matter what?
So,
See, flashbacks like that, they're fine.
Far enough
Yeah,
back
yeah.
to like actually make sense. But like when it's just a flashback to what happened earlier before the trial, it's like
Like 30 like literally when we woke up and had a flashback from the dream that we just had.
yeah, that one was ridiculous.
That one was dumb.
My memory hadn't come back at that point, but when he said that, I felt strange. Makes perfect sense now, of course, since my whole purpose for coming here was to find him. That makes sense.
However,
But listen, Makoto, I want to make this perfectly clear so there's no misunderstanding. I said the headmaster wasn't the mastermind, but I didn't say that to protect him. And I said that I felt based on what I'd seen when I snuck into the headmaster's room. What did you see in there?
so...
The room had been ransacked. The shelves were a mess, the desk drawers dumped on the floor. The only conclusion is that someone who didn't know where anything was had been in there. I mean the mastermind, right?
It's true.
That was my assumption, yes. And to confirm my suspicion, I decided to investigate the second floor of the dorms using the key I'd found. But why there? Because I also found this in the headmaster's room. Is this some kind of map?
Indeed.
It's a layout of the entirety of Hope's Peak Academy. I found it in the headmaster's room along with Mukoto's profile and that key. The map showed that the second floor was home to a number of rooms meant for faculty use. Some of the staff must have had to stay overnight from time to time. I figured the headmaster would have some kind of private room there. I assumed that if that were true, that room would likely hold more clues. So I went to check.
Correct.
And that's when I finally remembered. I remembered that my purpose was to find the owner of that room. So you went there to see if the headmaster really did have a private room there.
However...
But once I got there, I noticed that the second floor of the dorms didn't have any cameras or monitors. So what was it like? A part of the school, I mean. It's hard to describe. All I can say is, the moment I saw it, I realized, whatever's going on in this school is more horrific than we've ever imagined. What do you mean?
So...
Can't explain it. You need to see it for yourself. And I'm sure you'll get a chance soon enough. Sounds like it must be important. And really ominous.
There is hope. Hopefully.
However...
Consume trash.
Which is why I had no idea what was going on in the rest of the building. It has to do with Mukoto Ikusaba, doesn't it?
However...
Just to be perfectly clear, I didn't kill her. And I know it wasn't you either. I know you're right, but that just means everyone but you and me had an alibi, so who did kill her? What I can say for sure is that the mastermind is directly involved. To begin with, the point of the class trial of Mukoto Ikusaba was to get me killed. Get you killed?
Indeed.
I stole that key and disappeared, and in retaliation they wanted to draw me out and eliminate me.
Correct.
That was the point of the class trial. It was? The mastermind knew they couldn't interfere directly. I mean, because of the school regulations.
That's right.
Exactly. Free to explore, hope speak at your discretion.
In other words,
Mastermind is adamant about following the rules, and with that rule in place, they couldn't step in. Since they couldn't kill me themselves, they tried to use the class trial to do it. Mastermind couldn't step in because of the rules. Makes it sound like the Mastermind themselves is somehow bound by the school regulations.
hey,
There's one other thing I'd like to point out about the murder of Mukuro Ikusaba. What's that? There was a point where Mukuro may not have become the victim.
Okay.
It could have been you, Makoto. I could have become the victim?
indeed.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Do you mean...
That's terrifying.
Ba-ba-da?
I
I can hear them now, you know. Footsteps of the God of Death. I can hear the God of Death as he moves. That ability naturally draws me into cases, just like this.
Anyway,
Which is exactly what happened with you. I was in the dorms and I had a sudden sense of dread. I looked down the stairwell and saw a white shadow cross the corridor. I gave chase right away, and as I followed, I saw the shadow go into your room.
You should lock your door, kid.
correct.
I ran into your room and I saw what was happening. I intervened immediately, of course.
However,
That wasn't the end of things, of course. I stopped them, but that led to... Whoever the mass assailant was, they ended up dead.
correct.
And their murder was disguised, and the dojo key wound up in my room. It all has to be the work of the mastermind in an attempt to use the class trial to eliminate me. So all this would mean that whoever killed Mukuro is also the mastermind, right?
Indeed.
I don't have conclusive evidence, but that's what I think. But that's really bad if true. It means the mastermind can kill whoever they want if they feel like it. Wait, doesn't that create another contradiction? The mastermind wanted to use the class trial to try and kill you because they couldn't interfere, right?
Correct.
You're right. That is a contradiction. And it's not just Mukuro. They needed the class trial to kill me, but seemed ready to kill you in your room. Everything they did is a contradiction. So what does it all mean?
In other words,
It means that the mastermind is the one who's been cornered. Uh-huh.
Makoto.
Just a little more. A little more and I should be able to figure out what the mastermind's identity. The identity of the ultimate despair. The other ultimate despair. There's no doubt that Mukuro was the ultimate despair, and that she's dead. But I don't think the ultimate despair is just one person. It's not?
Indeed.
If you think about it, the ultimate despair seems to implicate whoever caused that event. You're talking about
That's right.
whatever happened a year ago, the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. The tragedy, whoever is responsible for that. They're the ultimate
It
despair?
would seem
That despicable group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair. Then they're...
Indeed.
Make no mistake, they're the root of all the evil that has forced us to go through this. That is the ultimate despair. And that is our real enemy.
Chapter 5,
100 Mile Dash, Pain of Junk Food Junkie.
The end.
To be continued.
Ooh.
Except we still have like 20 minutes left.
Do that easily.
Yeah. You received the Dream Island rocket present. Did I just save data? Yes.
Anyways.
Almost out of save slots. The ultimate despair. A group of people who caused the tragedy of 1 year ago. Those same people put together this killing game and began broadcasting it around the world. The most desperately awful group of people ever. That is the Mastermind's true identity. Our enemy has finally been revealed.
So it's a group of people.
Yes.
Gotcha.
But right now,
anyway.
we have to get out of this horrible place. Figuring out the rest of the story can come after. Yeah, you're right. You've got the key. Kyoko, do you still have that one thing? Ooh, oh boy. Monokuma's secret tool you got from the headmaster's room?
Indeed.
Of course I do. It's an absolutely vital part of ensnaring the mastermind. Never part with it. And it can open any door in the school, right?
That's right.
Then we should be able to use it on that door, right? Hey Kyoko, can we use that key of yours to open this door, right?
It's true.
Let's find out. Kyoko took the key and Monokuma's design on it and slid it into the keyhole. And then, click. Yes, it opened.
Indeed.
And now we can get out of here. Let's go. Sounds good. We quickly opened the door and made our escape from the garbage pit. Finally, we were finally free. But there wasn't even time to take a breath of relief, because the real fight had just begun. Ultimate pain, ultimate suffering, ultimate despair, ultimate execution, ultimate death. Deadly life. We're already in deadly life?
Apparently.
After leaving the garbage pit, we found ourselves in a tunnel extending straight up like a chimney. There was a metal ladder leading up into a tunnel. We started climbing the ladder, intent on reaching the surface.
That forever shadow, though.
Yep. The ladder was impossibly long, and I couldn't even see where it ended. Snake Eater! You wouldn't.
I've seen the video.
Oh, you've seen Snake Eater?
You've shown me the video.
That's right. The 3-minute long ladder climb.
It's wild.
I just like that halfway through an actual theme song for the game starts playing. Passage was so dark and cramped, couldn't even see my own feet beneath me. I had no idea we were so far down. You'll lose your footing. If you slip, I won't be able to catch you. Yeah, I'll be careful. But now that you said that, I'm getting kind of nervous. Maybe talking will help keep my mind off of it. So, Kyoko, there's something I wanted to ask you. You said you're the ultimate detective, right? So how long have you been doing detective work? How long?
So...
Ever since I can remember.
Well, you can't.
Came from a long line of detectives. Detective work is in my blood. There was a time when being a detective was considered a sacred duty. My family's always seen it that way. Now did I think about it, we're more than halfway through the game, right? We are.
We gotta be, right?
Then is your family famous?
Wrong.
Quite the opposite, actually. Even among actual detectives, many people haven't heard of us.
It's a little late to see the bad ending, Paranoia.
But how come? Well, we have a save right before the trial starts. We would just have to play through the trial again.
Yeah, I mean, we could always do that later.
Right.
Because we take pride in it. Pride?
Indeed.
A detective is neither light nor shadow. We represent neither justice nor evil. That is how we can uncover the absolute truth. We stand neutral in all things, and to do that, we have to stand separate from the rest of society. Which is why we've made a conscious effort to conceal our existence. Conscious effort?
It's true.
It's kind of old-fashioned, and I can't say it's entirely rational. But it's our family creed, and we do what we must to protect it. Because, like I said, it's our source of pride. Pride. So that explains... Before I came here, when I was looking up info about the school online, I never saw anything about her. Because she hid herself on purpose, to protect the pride of her family.
However...
And yet, I gave up some of that pride. In order to attend Toe Peak, I had to reveal myself to the school. I did it knowing that I was I did it knowing it was something a true Kirigiri detective would never do. But the reason you gave up that pride, the reason you would go so far as to even... I don't know the whole thing, but like that just goes on forever. Go so far as to even if... you know what I'm talking about, right?
The kid?
Not the kid. There's a I'll need to find it in a minute, but it's like an infomercial, but it just like it feels like you're having a stroke to watch it. It was because that's how much you wanted to reconnect with your dad, right? There's no shame in that.
What?
Reconnect? I had no absolute desire to reconnect with my father. But you'd be reuniting after all those years, right? You'd have so much to talk about.
Wrong.
There's nothing I wanted to talk to my father about.
However...
There's something I want to say to him, though. What?
No
matter what it takes, I have to find him and tell him face to face.
So...
I want to sever all ties with him. Sever? Last time I saw him, I was still very young, so I don't remember myself, but apparently he was extremely intelligent.
Sorry. I opened up TikTok instead of YouTube when I searched, so when I went back, it went to TikTok.
He was in line to become the next head of the Kirigiri family. He was talented, he had promising future, but he also had no interest in detective work. So he cut himself off from the family. Not longer after that, my mother died, and he simply ran away. He went to my grandfather, and they had a huge argument, and young as I was, he left me behind. I'm sure there was a reason for that. I'm sure your dad wanted to take you with him.
Right.
If that's true, then I need to thank him. Thank him for leaving me. Because unlike him, I take pride in the work that I do. I take pride in my family name. So every last part of me is happy he didn't take me with him. If I'd gone with him, I never would have had a chance to become a detective.
Maybe he left you on purpose to give you a better life.
I was above Kyoko on the ladder, so I wasn't able to see her expression, so I couldn't tell. I couldn't see how she looked when she said that, but she might have been feeding. All I could tell was that, compared to her usual self, she was more talkative and more emotional. I don't blame him, you know. He had his own life to live. That's what anyone in my position might say, right? But it's not true.
However...
But there's one thing that I can never forgive. Really?
So...
The way everyone else looked at me. I was never sad about being left behind, like I said. I think it was a good thing.
However...
But when the rest of the family looked at me, they saw something different. They only saw me as the little girl that was abandoned by her father. That's how they see me even to this day. His shadow has been following me my entire life. Sick of it. I need him out of my life. I need to step out of his shadow.
Correct.
That's why I have to find him and tell him we're no longer family. In order to settle the past, in order to remove him from my life forever, I have no doubt he forgot about me years ago. But your family, to just cut him out like that?
Wrong.
Our only connection is through blood, nothing more. Are we connected by heart and soul? No.
Hey.
Is blood really enough to call someone family? Only connected by blood, not by the heart or soul. So shocked to hear her say something like that, I didn't know how to respond. So instead, I said nothing. I just kept climbing the ladder in complete silence. And after that, and after I don't know how long, we finally reached the top.
Man, I bet it's locked. How shitty would it be if it was locked?
Looks like this is
Indeed.
it. On the other side of this door, Hope's Peak is waiting for us. We're back.
That's right.
Remember that hatch on the ground near the trash room?
The one with the padlock on the other side?
I'm fairly certain that's where we'll come out. I unlocked it earlier, so it should be open without much trouble. Here goes nothing. Ah, that would have been really fucking stressful to find out that we climbed a ladder for Snake Eater time, only to find out that
it had still been padlocked.
it had been.
Man, what if she hadn't thought that far ahead?
Looks like we're back. But I can't believe how long that ladder was. I'm exhausted. Can't exactly say we're safe and sound, but at least we're out of there. Now we're back in Hope's Peak Academy. Kyoko, thank you. I never would have gotten out here without you. No thanks necessary. I was just returning the favor. Except doesn't this place have a fucking camera?
It's not pointed towards us, though.
Mastermind is watching us even now.
It's not pointed towards us.
So, now what do we do? Glad I didn't die, of course, but if the Mastermind finds out, and I'm worried about you too. You helped me, so they might...
Listen.
You're worried? Yeah, of course.
So then...
Then let's just get a concrete answer.
In other words...
Let's ask Monokuma if there's a problem with you escaping. Wait, that's...
However...
If we try to hide, it's only a matter of time till we find out. And it's not like we can run away. She said that, she pointed near a surveillance camera. You're saying rather than stressing out over getting caught, we should just give up now? Don't worry. What you think is going to happen isn't. Because the Mastermind is the one that's ensnared. Said something like that before. What does it mean?
So...
The Mastermind stood exposed during the investigation in Mukuro's death. There was a moment where the Mastermind let their guard down.
Right.
If we can talk to Monokuma, we can confirm it. And it'll be better for us if we go to him directly before he tracks us down.
Sorry.
That should help with our negotiations. I'm still super uneasy about this, but we don't really have a choice, do we?
Indeed.
Monokuma should be in the gym.
Shall we go?
Let's get going.
Oh right, after the trial they have
The thing.
Yeah. There's another reason to kill people.
Yeah, motive. Finally, I get to make a cool-ass entrance. Just fucking bust down the door and be like, "What's up, bitches?"
Guess who didn't kill anybody?
Ah, this is gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
I'm ready. It's gonna be lit.
I'm very excited for this moment.
Same.
Well now.
Hey! Kyoko, I don't mind so much. But Makoto's supposed to be dead. What's he doing here? That's exactly how I thought he'd react. We're gonna be okay. You were supposed to be punished. Did Kyoko help you?
What?
So what if I did? What will you do? If the guilty party is exposed during the class trial, they alone will be executed. It's unfortunate, but that is the rule. So now I gotta punish you again. This time I won't leave anything to chance. Kyoko, do whatever you feel you have to. What?
However,
Before you do, let me just say one thing.
now,
If you execute Makoto, that means you lose. Not that that matters to you, right? I lose? You, explain yourself. What do you mean by that?
because
Well, you set up this latest class trial yourself, right? I was getting in your way, so you wanted an excuse to kill me.
in other words,
I was supposed to be chosen as the blackened and then executed, right? Hey, what are you talking about?
however,
But when Makoto chose to overlook my lie, your plan came crashing down. The result of the trials weren't all what you were expecting, because you never imagined that in that position, one person would protect another like that.
right,
And in response to that unexpected development,
indeed.
you reacted by proclaiming Makoto the blackened and trying to execute him. You made the choice out of desperation. No more than that. You must have realized that Makoto, who refused to be manipulated, was a threat to you as well.
However,
But then there was another unexpected development waiting for you. An entity that would throw a wrench, so to speak, in your precious execution machinery. Alter ego. You never imagined the possibility of being that could come to our aid even after you'd killed it.
am I wrong?
Now here's the absolute truth. Makoto didn't kill Mukuro. You did.
Listen to me.
So executing Makoto for it would surely be a violation of your rules, which I know you love so much. If the blackened is exposed, they alone will be executed. That's what you told us, right? And that means I lose? You talk a big game. You're saying the blackened is me and not Makoto.
Well,
And you can prove this, right?
Well,
No, I can't. Just say it like that. What is this, a comedy routine? To make such bold claims without a shred of evidence?
that doesn't matter.
I don't have any right now, but with a little more time, I guarantee I'll find some.
That's right.
Because no matter how deeply you try to bury it, there's only ever one absolute truth. And now you're trying to talk like some kind of famous detective type?
Because
If Makoto really was the killer, he never would have come to you willingly like this. He would have feared for his life, feared another execution. He would have tried to run and hide. He would have been gripped by the despair you so love to inspire.
however,
But here we are, confronting you with nothing but hope in our hearts.
what the heck?
And that's supposed to be enough to convince me in the absence of evidence?
indeed.
It's not you I'm trying to convince.
Hey,
If you were to execute Makoto now, everyone out there watching this would be extremely displeased. Uh-huh.
indeed.
Imagine that everyone out there would think if you killed Makoto, they would assume that you killed him because what we said is exactly right.
Listen to me.
Despair can never kill hope.
Hey,
Of course, you can say we're just making this all up. You're welcome to prove us wrong. No, you have no choice but to prove it. Because if you kill Makoto without proving your own innocence, you'll be accepting your own defeat. If you want to earn our despair, fair and square,
that's what we have
then
to
I
do.
suggest you take my advice. So what is this advice of yours?
It's true.
To do Mukoto's trial over again. Only this time, you follow the school regulations to ensure a fair trial.
It's time for one last showdown. One final battle between hope and despair. Hey,
Well, that would make for a proper climax, wouldn't you say? A fair trial, one last showdown. In other words, this would be our chance to expose the true identity of Mukoto's killer, of the mastermind themselves. But what reason would the mastermind have to accept the challenge? They'll probably just execute me without another word. Interesting.
Barrett!
Very interesting indeed. Barry?
What's wrong?
I was getting bored, so I decided to change things up a little. So time for bear jokes. Now, what you suggested might be possible. It would certainly make for one honey of a climax.
in other words,
Does that mean you accept?
You guys!
If we do things your way, that'll be enough to convince you and the viewers, right? It would cause your unbearable despair, right? Then I'm prepared to agree to your terms. Will your hope win out, or will my despair claim victory? I'm getting so tired of this.
I can barely
Let's have
contain
one final
myself.
grisly showdown. You agreed? We still have a shot at this.
Barrett!
But this is the long way to climax, right? Just guessing the killer is barely a fitting in.
You guys!
So for the final face-off, you'll have to unearth all the mysteries that have been buried here.
Ooh.
All the mysteries. That's right, every last mystery that's pawing around the school. If you can do that, then that'll be enough to qualify as a victory for you. Fucking hate this.
It's true.
That is what we've been trying to do all along. Okay, well, good. Then let's bear it all. If you can claw your way to the truth of Mukuro's death and solve the mysteries of this school, then you win. But if you can't do all that, we all face execution, right? I can barely contain my excitement. When you learn the whole truth, what kind of despair will you show me? We're as excited as you are, I'm sure.
Listen to me.
When we've uncovered every last truth, how will the ultimate despair reveal their own despair? I honestly can't believe how this has all turned out.
Hey,
But before we get started, I want to clarify one more thing. Do you remember the rule? When one student kills another, that's when a class trial is held.
What's wrong?
I remember that for sure. So what?
hey,
I just want to confirm that is what you said, right? And it's a true statement? You don't have to be so suspicious. I've said it before, but it bears repeating. Everything is based on the school regulations. And having a trial for Mukuro is no exception to that. Mukuro's trial is no exception, then it's part of the regulations, which would have to mean that whoever killed Mukuro is a very it's a very polarizing approach, I know, but okay, enough puns. Anyway, here's a hint. I'm sure I told you this already, but this killing game began with 16 participants, all of them high school students. And the only people to take a single step in Hope Speak Academy since the killing game began are those 16 students. What?
listen.
You telling the truth? Why did you go quiet all of a sudden? I'm done talking. I got nothing left to say to you. So get lost, would you? Why so mad? He seems emotionally unstable. Leave me alone. Get out of here. Okay, I'm going. You really gonna let me go? I don't even care anymore. You're all gonna get punishment later anyway. And you start getting ready. Super duper extra special punishment. Overflowing with despair.
Hey,
Come on, Makoto. Let's go. Okay.
Alright, this is it. The last investigation and the last trial. I scrolled.
This is the actual
This
end.
is the actual end. The last investigation and the last trial.
Dang,
Paranoia
we're at
says
it.
we should do it now.
Let's do it tonight. This is getting good.
But
It's already
that's
9.
Up to you.
It's already 9. I bet we could get at least the investigation. We can do the investigation next
here's the
Tuesday,
thing.
and then
We have the investigation, we have the trial, and we have an epilogue.
all right.
I don't know how long the epilogue is.
We got to figure out. Can I save in the middle of a trial? Like, is the option available? Because I can open my system whenever I want.
Yeah.
So should I not be able to save in the middle of a trial?
I don't
Why
know.
don't we save this? Why don't we save what we can for next time?
Okay.
Because this is like a good.
Stopping point?
Yeah, I think it is. It's not quite a good stopping point just yet, but let's go ahead. I guess this is going to be a good enough stopping point. Let's go ahead and save. I'm sorry. I know everybody's getting super excited, but like, man, imagine if exactly 30 save slots is just enough to get
Man, that would be wild.
through. But no, that's going to be where we end it tonight. We're going to come back with that investigation, because I feel like the investigation phase for uncovering every secret is
Yeah.
going to take a while.
See, I'll look.
Like, there's got to be a lot of things.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah, so...
Now that's just the investigation.
So we've got plenty of investigation to do next episode, and then the very final episode will be the trial and epilogue next Wednesday.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we go to. I'm gonna stop counting. We go to every single room.
Yeah.
Every single room.
So if we go to every single room in the entire game,
Well,
then
except all of the classrooms.
yeah,
Like,
well, every single important room.
yeah.
If we're going to every single important room in the game, then it's going to take us a while. So let's go ahead and call it a here for the night, and we'll be back on Tuesday, unless. Well, you're available.
Yeah.
Because I'm available on Sunday.
Because the weddings got pushed back.
Yep.
Corona.
The thing that we were supposed to go to this Saturday, and I'm off on Sunday.
I'm really sad that the wedding got pushed back, but I'm so glad that the venue worked with them.
Yeah, that helps a lot.
Ugh.
What is my...
Which is also perfect because now it's against the law to have a group of over 25 people.
In Birmingham.
No, they're moving it to Tuscaloosa now too.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Then how are they going to keep stores open?
I have no idea.
Like, that's the thing is, like, with them moving the thing to, like,
a gathering of 25 people.
I know, but that's it. Like, if you have more than 25 people in your store, do you just say, like, sorry, you're not allowed in until somebody leaves? You just have somebody standing out front fucking bouncing?
With one of those clickers?
Yeah. Like, how are you supposed to... Because you have to account for every employee. You don't, like... Depending on how many employees are in a room or in the store, we easily have anywhere between like 6 to 10 employees at any given point in time. We're just gonna let 15 people in the store at a time. This entire thing is going crazy.
It is.
Anyway, that's gonna be where we end it tonight. Thank you everybody who came out to the stream. I'm super excited to play this again. I want to play it again soon. We're getting so close to the end.
We'll see you either Saturday or Tuesday.
Saturday or Tuesday. Those are 2 days that we're probably going to be back.
We'll let you know beforehand.
We might, if we have Saturday, we might do a Saturday super stream and just do the whole thing in one sitting.
We might.
We could do the investigation, take a quick break, and then do the trial.
How you feel about that, Paranoia? Feel like it's a good idea?
We could do the whole thing on Saturday since we have nothing else to do. We could do the whole thing on Saturday. You free Saturday?
Especially if Paranoia is free on Saturday.
If
Paranoia is free on Saturday, we gotta do the whole thing.
We gotta make sure Paranoia is there for the final episode.
Oh,
he was the one that actually like got us the game. So like we gotta make sure that Paranoia is there and ready to go. Final episode. So if you're free Saturday.
Unless Paranoia is already logged out. Oh, hey!
Awesome. Cool. Let's do the whole thing Saturday if we can. Are you good with that?
I'm good with that.
I'm good with that.
We'll get you back on times later.
We'll get you back on exact times later. We're gonna figure out what
we're gonna start before 7. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, before 7 p.m. for sure. We're probably gonna start sometime around like when.
I don't know. Like
we'll figure out times, but like we got to figure out
before dinner.
A little bit before dinner. We'll probably stream everything up to the trial beforehand, then
take
have
like
dinner.
15, 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, 15.
We're gonna take like a 30-minute break.
30-minute break for dinner, and then we'll come back at our usual 7 o'clock time, maybe. We're gonna see where we are.
Yeah.
I don't have work on Sunday either because I've asked off.
Yeah.
So I can go late as well. But that's the plan. We're gonna do the whole thing on Saturday then. Awesome. I'm excited. Are you excited?
Me too. I'm very
super excited.
It's gonna be lit.
That's gonna be it for tonight. I've been Paladin Null. This has been Megumin.
Hi.
This has been Danganronpa, Trigger Happy Havoc. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. And as always, I'll see you guys next time. Wait.
Hold on. The chat's not popping up in our window.
Oh, do I have chat turned? I have chat turned off.
Oh no!
I've had chat turned off this whole time.
No one's been able to see what Paranoia's been telling us.
Whoop! There it is. There it all is.
All of it.
Wait, hold on. 7 p.m.
No, we're not starting the first time at 7 p.m. because that's gonna make us go till like midnight.
Yeah, no, we're not starting at 7 p.m. We're starting earlier in the night, and then the trial starts at 7 p.m. Maybe. We're gonna try and start the investigation
way earlier.
Way earlier.
That's gonna take at least 2 hours.
Like at least 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like 4:35.
No later than 4, hopefully.
Yeah. No later than 4, hopefully. We're gonna start the trial.
But like I said, we'll message you guys on Discord. Oh.
My work
no.
ends at 6:30 p.m.
Well, looks like we're doing investigation only on Saturday.
We can do
7.
We'll do investigation then on Saturday, and then we'll be back with the finale on Tuesday then.
All right.
Unless we want to do a super duper late night stream. I don't know how you feel about that.
I mean, I don't have to put clothes on for work next week. So.
Let's figure it out when we get there. If we can finish the investigation relatively fast, and it looks like we're going to be able to finish before like 1 o'clock in the morning, we might do the whole thing. But let's plan on starting at 7 then, so that Paranoia can be there.
Yes.
We'll do 7 p.m. and then we'll go from 7 p.m. down. Let's figure out where we're at from there.
Cool.
All right. Hope you're having a fantastic day. And as always, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.